Our topic is the 4 phases of action. Now, it's important because most of you probably didn't understand that there are different phases of action that you'll take in anything that you pursue. And this is very, very important. And the reason why it's so important is because many times people get confused in the process of taking action and they'll compare the results, say in phase 1, to someone that's in phase 3. Now, that's a problem. Why? Because different stages of development were not able to take place because they didn't go through the phase of action. And that's most likely because they didn't understand there were 4 phases of action. I was always told, don't just go do something, understand why it is you're going to go do it. Understand the thought process behind what it is you're actually doing. And that's what we're here to teach you today in the 4 phases of action. We just want to help you understand there are stages, there are phases that you'll go through when taking action, and you need to understand why. You need to understand the thought process behind it, and when you do, it sure will help you as you go through the process. I promise you that. So, phase 1, massive action. Okay? Massive action, and that is exactly as it is described, massive. Massive action. This is where we just go out and in whatever it is we're doing, we take massive amounts of action. You don't see in here correct action or proper action. That's the next phase. Just massive action. It's just taking massive action. It's just taking action, period, and not worrying about the details. Not worrying about getting everything right. Not worrying about making sure everything's perfect. It's just acting. Acting. And acting many, 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 many times, okay? So what will phase 1 accomplish? Well, phase 1 is where you're going to overcome your fear and doubt. How do you overcome fear? By taking action. How do you overcome the fear of skydiving? Well, you just jump out of the plane. It's that simple, and it's as simple in anything that you're doing. So it's going to help you overcome fear and doubt. What else is going to do? It's going to help you to understand that you don't check results in this phase, okay? You're only concerned yourself with massive action, okay? And this is the whole point, is and many times people say, oh my gosh, how did that guy get that girl? Here's the deal. You ask enough girls, eventually one of them's gonna say yes. And I'm sure it's the same for the guys too, but here's what you gotta understand. If you do things enough times, okay, if you take enough action, you will produce results, even if you're doing it completely wrong, okay? Massive action and action in itself over and over and over again, a large enough amount of action will always produce results, okay? So this will also help you with becoming comfortable with the action that you're taking. It's one of the biggest places where we all want to be. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you play sports. I don't care if it's at your job, whatever it is. You know, you can get a ton of training, and it's not till you go out and actually act upon that anything happens. That's when you really learn. It's like when you go through college and you learn all these things about whatever job it is, but it's not until you get out there in the job and start taking action in that field that you're really going to understand what it is you're doing, and you're going to understand how to produce results. And it's the same thing here. It's just like sports. You know, you have to just pick up the bat and you have to swing. Okay, that's the first step, is just figuring out, how do I swing this bat? We'll talk about getting a curveball later. That's going to come in the process of just learning how to hit the ball first before we learn how to hit that curve and hit that slider and so on and so forth. So the whole point is it's going to help you get comfortable with the action that you're taking, with what you're doing. It's pretty simple. Okay? This is where you'll learn to tweak your presentation or whatever it is you're doing and make it your own. Okay? Everyone has a specific talent. Some people are good at online marketing and connecting with people. Some people are great at social media. Some people are great at recruiting. Some people are great at your development. You're good at this. Here's what you got to understand. In our system, you have a basic foundation. You have a loop. And in that loop, you have to follow in some way, shape, or form that loop process. Now, can you make it your own? Absolutely. You need to put your own personality. You need to put your own swag, if you will, into what it is that you're doing. You want to make it your own, and you're going to find out where you can insert your personality and make things your own as you're taking somebody through that loop, okay? So phase 1, that's where you're going to do it, but you got to take massive action first to figure out how to insert yourself and where, all right? Now, lastly, just force yourself to take massive action, and this is something that you have to do. Like we said, number one is overcome fear and doubt. How do you overcome the fear and doubt of getting results and accomplishing the ultimate goal, whether it's money or reward or time or whatever that is? There has to be action taken to get to that end result, and you have to just make yourself do it. So phase two, proper action. Okay. Now with proper action, it's now you can effectively assess your action with your coach. Okay. Now here's what's crazy. I see this happen all the time. Many people try to skip right to phase two, proper action. They try to find somebody and say, hey, what do I do? How do I do this? Or how do I do that? Or what should I do here? You have to understand this. Your coach, they cannot coach in action. They cannot help you because basically what you're saying is, hey, so and so, will you do this for me? Or what do I do? You're really, and most people, they do try to avoid phase one to get right into phase two and say, hey, what do I do? Or how do I do this? Or how do I do that? You're going to figure out yourself how you do this or how you do that. Your coach is just there to simply guide you. You can't, you ever heard the term, you cannot steer a parked car. If the car is parked, I can't steer you left, right, or in the right direction because the car, you're not even moving. And many people, they will not understand and they will not resonate with the advice and the direction that their coach is giving them if they have not first taken action, okay? You got to take the action first, and then you can assess and direct, through coaching, into a phase that now we have the proper action that you can take. Okay, so after coaching, you can make adjustments in order to have better results, because that's the goal. If we're taking a ton of action, we want to now make that action as productive as possible. Okay, and you have to go through phase one to get to phase two. You got to pass. You got to hit first base before you can go to second base, and that is exactly how it is in the phases of action. Okay, you can now set realistic goals based on action needed to obtain results. Now, what do I mean by that? Obviously, one of our formats and one of our teachings in our Level Up coaching process is goal setting. Now, here's the deal. It's not until you've taken massive action that you can then start to figure out what type of results you're going to get. So the stage one is you always want to, and we're not going to get into in this section, goal setting, but stage one of goal setting is action goals, okay? And even in stage 2 and 3 is action goals, and then you move into results goals. Now here's what's great about taking massive action and then moving into proper action. You can now set realistic goals, okay, based on action needed to obtain the results. So you're going to get an idea of the results that you get by taking a certain amount of action, and as you start doing it properly, you'll start gauging really what it takes. If I take X amount of action, I get Y amount of results, okay? So phase two, proper action. So phase one, massive action. Phase two, now we want to get better results through proper action and guide that in the right direction. Phase three, self-image, okay? Self-image phase is a great phase to be. It's where you've taken massive action, you've got the appropriate guidance, and you've started to make some tweaks and get things to where your results are starting to show. And then in phase three, it's where you got them. Phase three, self-image, you got that swag. You realize that what you're doing is right. You know how to get results. And here's what's awesome. The quality of your prospects will increase. And the reason that they'll increase is because your self-image is increased. You have no problem going for the bigger deal or going for that higher level individual, okay? And it's no problem because you know what you're doing gets results. You know what you're doing is producing, and therefore you're not afraid to share it with anybody, okay? Next, all the action and results boost your confidence. Obviously, the action that you're taking, that's the first way to overcome fear. That's the first way to start to instill confidence in yourself. When you get results, that's the ultimate. When you're getting results, obviously your confidence is through the roof. Number three, you get good and you know it. Like I said, you got that swag. Phase three, self-image, you're getting results and you know how to get results and you know it. And then lastly, your list gets sharper and you don't waste your time on the wrong people. Many times through, and that's another thing. It's another reason why I have to go through the massive action phase. It's to kind of filter through unproductive, maybe people, unproductive situations, unproductive environments, whatever you want to call it, but you're going to understand what you can be productive with and what you cannot be productive with as you start going through massive action into proper action and now into self-image. So this is very, very important. At this point, you know what you're doing, you know how to do it, you know how to get results, and you focus on what is going to give you your best return on investment, whether they be people or platforms or whatever that may be. Now, last phase of action, phase 4 is servitude. Okay, this is where you've gone through your first 3 phases. You understand how to get you understand how to maximize your results, and you know what to do. Now's when you turn around and you help other people go through the 4 phases of action. That's when you help them through those 4 phases as well. So you genuinely understand and appreciate the process. Like I said, many times you take an action in certain areas, you don't have to like it, but here's the deal. You understand it and you appreciate the process and you want to help others succeed. Okay, this is now where we've gone to the additional phase of turning around now and helping other people do what you've just done. And that is to get through that massive action phase, to help tweak them so they can get better results and take proper action. And then, get them to the point where they're getting results and they know it and they know they're good. And they've got a self-image that shows that, to where they really got their stuff down. And now phase 4, you want to help other people succeed. So you'll lead by example and coach others to do the same. That's phase 4. That's the ultimate. That's the pinnacle. And that is the industry. And that is the model that we want to have modeled and duplicated over and over and over again in your business and in this industry. Because if you understand these 4 phases of action, because action is everything. Action is what's going to produce all your results. We're going to work on your attitude through this coaching. We're going to work on your thought process, but ultimately it's action. And you have to understand these 4 phases of action. And if you will follow these 4 phases of action, and you'll get to phase 4, which is servitude, and you'll help other people duplicate this process, you have an incredible future, you have a whole lot of friends, and you'll help a whole lot of people. And, oh, by the way, you make a whole lot of money. So with that, these are our 4 phases of action. So get out there, take action, and get it done.